Well, first of all, obviously, extremely proud of our guys, how they persevered and gutted it out when it wasn't the prettiest of fashion. We turned the ball over 16 times. That's not a recipe for success, but they kept finding a way, and they kept battling. And every media timeout, we kept trying to inch forward and push forward. At one point, I think we were turning it over at about a 50% clip in the second half. 6 turnovers in the first 12 possessions, which is not, like I said before, what you want to do. But to be able to continue to gut it out and persevere and get stops at key times and get to the free throw line 37 times again, and obviously the play of Nigel and Ethan. When we had Showalter in foul trouble and Bronson struggled from the floor, I thought we really got, obviously the numbers speak for themselves with him, but Jordan Hill with those two guys, but Jordan Hill and Aaron Maish off the bench really gave us a boost, and that's what's so neat about this team is they've come together, and the chemistry and the culture in the locker room has grown tighter and tighter over the last 5 weeks. You know, I don't know if we'd be in a position to be able to pull something like this out, you know, 6, 8 weeks ago, but the cohesiveness and the togetherness and how these guys are growing together is something that makes me extremely proud and proud to be their coach. So with that, I will take some questions.
We have microphones in the back. If you have a question, flag one down. Jeff?
Greg, I assume at some point you just decided to get the ball to Nigel, and I don't know how many guys they ran at him, but then eventually he would get to the free throw line.
Yeah, we at that point when we were in that 3 to 5 point game, we were up 5 or down 2, whenever that stretch, it was either Nigel or Ethan, and we have a couple different things we went to. A couple of the timeouts of just get Nigel the ball and get out of the way. That was the play call. But we did do a couple things, and I thought our guys did a good job of finding him at certain times, and like I said, to be able to touch him as much as we did and get to the free throw line that many times, obviously that's the experience of him, and he's gotten better. He's starting to embrace contact, and Ethan is as well. He's starting to understand how to finish at the rim. You know, those that have followed us 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, we have left a lot of points in the paint. There's still some tonight that I'll find on film that we could have done a better job, and we'll do a much better job of as we continue to move forward of taking care of the ball and being more secure in that area. But to be able to do that and to play through 2 guys that had a pretty hot hand was good, and for the other guys to recognize it.
Jim?
Greg, 2 weeks ago, this team had this label as a team that couldn't win close games and had trouble down the stretch. Now 3 wins later, I think that's changed. What do you think the biggest reason has been over these last 2 weeks for that, just your ability to finish better down the stretch?
I think 2 things. One, we played better in the 69 or 70 some possessions before the final possession. We've gotten better in that regard in some instances, not everywhere, but we've improved in that area. And the other thing, I think the more important thing, as I mentioned in my opening statement, the chemistry. This group is growing together. And we've had so many new guys that have had to step into roles this year, whether they're new freshmen on campus or returning players that have changed roles. That takes a while for that cohesiveness to come together, and I think now they believe in what we're doing. I've always, used the analogy 2 feet in the boat. Make sure you have 2 feet in the boat and grab your oar. And they definitely, I had 17 guys tonight with 2 feet in the boat and 2 hands on their oar, and they were definitely everybody on the bench and in the timeouts did a terrific job of changing some things that we went through and adjusting. And like I said, I'm just proud of those guys because of how they've rallied and continue to grow and develop together.
Jeff?
Greg, you talked about growth. That Ethan has talked about getting frustrated at times and letting it affect his play. It appeared he was frustrated with some calls tonight, but it appeared his response was, give me the ball, I want to go at Bryant. Do you see that as a part of a growth for him tonight? Yeah,
because he didn't start exceptionally well. If I remember right, he missed the first couple. We missed a couple blockouts, and I thought at halftime, if we just take care of the ball, slow them down in transition, get the ball stopped, and take care of the offensive glass, it wouldn't have been a 1-point game at half. But credit to them, Bryant is a load, and obviously Yogi's as good as in this league, along with Trimble in terms of point guards, and he's experienced. And I thought we did a very good job on the other guys for the most part in terms of eliminating their ability to shoot threes, or at least give them clean looks. They got a couple in transition and a couple of mistakes that we made there. The one at the end where we didn't get the switch done the right proper way in the overtime when they cut it to 1. But for the most part, I thought we did a pretty good job in that area with handling perimeter shooters. But Ethan definitely, I think he's maturing. And as I've said before, the best experience, I can show him on tape, I can do drills with the team and him specifically with post drills. But his experience that he's gathering every day and every game, you know, there's going to be some ups and downs that any freshman goes through. But happy that he continued to persevere. Obviously, we're not near as happy a locker room right now if he's not delivering like that.
Ben?
Greg, it seems Nigel is starting to relish the defensive role, taking on the other team's best defender. Switching him on to Farrell for the last possession. What did you think going into that, and how did you like how he responded against a really talented point guard?
Yeah, he did. We had looked at some things we talked about in the timeout that we were going to try to get Nigel matched with him, so if they were going to ball screen with a bigger guy, we had changed our defensive assignment, and instead of having Ethan on him, and normally by size, we switched that intentionally, thinking that would happen to get Nigel onto Yogi. And I thought he did a really good, Yogi did a terrific job of shot faking there in the baseline and getting Nigel up in the air, but he didn't take the bait enough to be able to fall on him and force that tough shot for us to get to overtime. So that's two really good players in this league going at it. So hopefully, I'm sure the fans enjoyed it. That's two pretty good ones going at each other.
Greg, earlier in the year,
Yeah.
you had some scoring lapses that would hurt you in a game like this. Has just going to the basket and getting to the foul line so much really, has it evened out your offense and made it more consistent?
It's helped. It's helped, and I think the maturity of those guys inside have helped that. And you know, we've done some things drill-wise in practice to try to emphasize playing through contact better, driving it in straight lines, and enjoying that, embracing the contact. I haven't gone over to Coach Chris and asked for football or shoulder pads and helmets yet, but we are wearing out the blocking pads and the hand dummies that we get a little physical with on the perimeter and in the post. So hopefully, I think it's paying dividends. I know the players are believing in what we're doing, and that's key for them to have success.
Zach?
Greg, going off of that earlier question with Nigel on Yogi at the end of games, what do you think of Jordan's play on Yogi tonight defensively throughout the course of the game? Were you comfortable putting him in that spot at the beginning, and at what point did you feel comfortable?
Well, there were some mistakes that he made, but you know, and some things he'll learn from. But I thought for the most part he did a pretty good job of trying to really. The biggest thing with Jordan is sometimes he gets over anxious and he overreacts to a move instead of just staying solid and keeping people in front and forcing jump shots over the top. And he's getting better with that. I think as he gets more experience and just calms down a little bit more. But I thought for the most part he did a pretty decent job. There was a couple times he got loose on him and some things, obviously in exchange situations or switches that he got locked into a big guy and had to fight for a rebound where he got a foul there on Bryant in the second half as well when he kind of came underneath him. But he's learning on the fly, which is it's good to see because he's been kind of in and out of the lineup. He's played a lot of minutes and he hasn't played based on matchups and what I've seen and what I've liked from practice. But when we needed him tonight, he obviously stepped up.
Right in the back.
Coach, you mentioned in your opening comments, Aaron gave you 13 minutes. Seemed like he was really energetic out there. What did he give you that you saw on the bench?
Well, I liked his mobility defensively. That was the biggest thing. I just felt for some of our younger players, our freshmen, that the game, the speed of it, and the transition things were a little bit more than maybe they were quite accustomed to. And with them playing a smaller lineup, I could get away with playing a smaller lineup too, and it helped us defensively. And that was the main thing, that I liked his feet. I liked his experience. He's a very sharp kid, as everybody knows. He picks up things up really quick, and anytime I call on him, he's always, been right there ready to go. So that's the neat part of being part of a team. You never know, when you're going to get called on. And he was big for us tonight, even though you look at cross numbers, you won't see the biggest numbers his minutes, but his contribution was big for us.
Anything else, Coach?
All right, thank you.